That was some weird fucked up shit. I want anybody who's reacting to this in a place where they can see it, or go back in the episode itself. When that panned back from Hiyoshi, that was Professor Hamaguchi in the window. That wasn't our new professor. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back with more episodes of Voltace 5. We got done episodes 15 and 16, last duo recordings. And now we're going to be going into 17 and 18. As I say, I record these both episodes back to back, which is why one episode has my notes and the board and stuff in it, and the other episode is just pure on reaction. Speaking of, though, we do have a board, as always, and the board changelog added Professor Sokunuji. I didn't say that right at all. We added Professor Sokunji and tied him into the rest of the team with a green line. That's really only thing that changed. Obviously, we've added a new character. We had already lost Hamaguchi in the previous 2 episodes, so to the notes then. Once again, the technological variance in the Bowsanians is incredible. They can teleport a robot 14,000 light years away. Star Trek can't even do that. Yet, they also can't understand electromagnetism. But then again, it's the differences between shows of the era, right? The fact is that they also have a room-sized device that is required to mimic voices. So, let's see. The Emperor not only wants Heinel to fail, but also die. So what was the point in sending Robo-Dad? Robo-Dad legit tried to take out Big Falcon and the team. You'd think that if the Emperor was actually working against Heinel, he would have sent this thing to infiltrate the team, then actively rally them together to beat Heinel once and for all. Then maybe backstab them once Heinel was dead, for whatever purposes the Bowsanians would have for Earth. So, yeah. I don't know. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me what the Emperor's plan is. We've established before that Hiyoshi was so young when his father left that he doesn't even remember his voice. So it seems odd that he instantly recognizes him on the dock. I feel like most arguments would be that a son would instinctively know their father somehow, but this is also just a robot, so I don't know. Worst doctors, as I said before, last reaction. They were about to operate on a robot. They've done absolutely no work in diagnosing the problem leading up to the operation. Any single thing would have let them know what's going on, like checking his blood work or doing an EKG. It's just a massive difference between this and the last episode, where they went deep on scanning a guy to make sure he wasn't a robot. Remember when Megumi got in all sorts of trouble for breaking away from the team to try and save her father as well as the Earth Defense HQ? Yet, when it's their father, Hiyoshi is allowed to not even join in the defense of the base, and Kenichi can run back in to investigate their dad and help protect the base. Almost the exact same situation, except Megumi gets in trouble for it. At the very least, RoboGo is a slap master, so everyone's getting the same treatment Megumi got from Oka back then. It almost feels like episode 15 should have come before the other infiltration episode. That way, when they test the other guy for being a robot, it establishes that they've been tricked before and know what to look for this time, rather than establishing that they know about it and did nothing this time. One way makes them look smart, the other way makes them look stupid. So, yeah, I think the episodes should have been flipped around. Assuming for a second that in episode 16, these saucers are the same ones from episode 1, and they've been just sitting at the bottom of the ocean all this time, Why? This is still my biggest unanswered question in the show. Why did they say that Earth was victorious when they destroyed the militaries of the world with hardly any consequence, but then had a little trouble with the Voltes 5? If this fleet had arrived when all the jets of the world converged to help the defense talks some episodes ago, the world's remaining military would have been destroyed. Voltes 5 can't be everywhere. These things could be running wild all over the Earth. Heinel could be attacking population centers all over the place and demanding that the Voltes 5 surrender or he won't stop. So many uses for an army of flying saucers that modern military hardware can't damage, and Heinel has it just sitting on the bottom of the ocean. So I know I called out the fact during last reaction that Oka should have a second in command at least to take over when he isn't at the Earth Defense HQ, but I missed the line saying that the deputy commander had been killed. Fair enough. Even then, the chain of command still exists. The next highest ranking officer should take charge. I mean, someone had the authority to try and call Oka back, but that doesn't feel like the right call either. Big Falcon has no secondary leadership like the HQ does. Big Falcon is the launch point for the forces that would come and save the HQ. Oka should stay at Big Falcon to coordinate, and whoever is in charge at HQ should now just take over, unless the entire HQ is admitting to their own incompetence. It's an observation here, but Toka is essentially Kenny from South Park. I think it died twice now, and either gets fixed by the end of the episode, or is just back at the start of the next episode. And my last note here, the real reason Big Falcon needs someone other than the team in charge is that the team are just still a bunch of dicks to each other and everyone else. The base crew are here constantly putting their lives on the line, sometimes dying, to support the Voltes 5 crew. Last episode, they were all over the crew for not being fast enough, missing signals, etc. And I mean all over, physically threatening them. It's no wonder some of them tried to bail when things were looking bad. Without Hamaguchi to give them confidence, now they face death and abusive jerks. New guy comes in and shit talks them for trying to stay alive, even says they're doing a bad job. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's worth it to be a crew member at Big Falcon. You either get crushed when a giant claw comes in through the ceiling, or blown apart when the shields go down. But even then, you're not appreciated by the people who you're actively trying to help, right? You keep the team either healed as one of the medical crew, you keep them supplied, you keep the base running, and instantly the moment something goes wrong, you've got Ippei grabbing you by the neck like, oh, you didn't see them coming, are you asleep? Or, Kenichi down in the computer rooms, finger in your face, like, gotta do it faster. It's like we're all trying to save the world here. Stop being such a dick about it. Anyway, that's my thoughts from the last 2 episodes. So, I guess nothing else to do here but see where we go next. I mean, we have to see what the new professor's like. He seems like he's going to be a hard ass, whereas Hamaguchi seemed more like I don't want to use the word family man, but he seemed more friendly and he reached out in matters of disagreement, right? Like Ippei, he got him his horse back. Anyway, like I said, let's go ahead and see what happens.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
I will say this, and I don't know if this paints me in a good or a bad light. Probably a bad light, and I'd understand that. when I rewatch episodes of Voltes 5, and I don't do this for any other show, when I rewatch the episodes of Voltes 5 to take notes, I watch it in double speed. And I have often criticized people who watch anime or YouTube videos or anything in double speed because I feel like, how do you appreciate it? Now, granted, I'm only doing it in my rewatches, right? So I've already watched it once. But there is a lot of, how would I describe it, like dead time in Voltes 5 episodes that it really makes it easier to get through in double speed. Like, some episodes have 3 Voltes 5 joining scenes. And that's really cool. I do love the shouting of Voltes 5! But when I'm on a little limited time budget, double speed really helps. Oh, that's right. On the next time on, I remember they do that little hurricane spin thing.
突如現れた一人の男に救われた。その名は左近次幸三。ファルコンの新しき指導者となった左近次博士はボルテスチームに対して次々と厳しい訓練を課していた。
I don't know if it's not needed. I don't know if it's not needed, but at the same time, remember that they spent like the last year of their lives training. Although, training and shit that has nothing to do with the machines, if you recall. Megumi was training to be a ninja. Hiyoshi was training to fight sharks underwater hand to hand. Stuff that has not been useful once. I mean, at least Hamaguchi did have them training against a giant robot once, which is what they're supposed to do, or not what they're supposed to do, what they do all the time. I mean, in fairness, there have been a bunch of beast machines that do fire projectiles at them. This could be useful. I do feel like this guy needs to be reined in a little bit. I mean, how much information does this guy have, really? I mean, how are you gonna stop him from landing? I mean, how much information does this guy have? Because it's Professor Go that made these things. Hamaguchi that helped Professor Go, and this guy was like so tertiary that he wasn't part of the process. But yet he knows what these machines can and cannot do. Granted, if you're going like Mach 14 in a fight, you're probably no longer in the fight.
全員スピン飛行に入る。
Yeah, imagine how many miles away from the fight you are right now.
一体何のためにこんな真似をさせるんだ。
平次、それがお前らのスピン飛行か。機体をもっと早く駒のように回転させろ。
博士、俺たちは最高のスピードで、しかも博士の言った通り飛んでる。
黙れ。もっと早く回転するんだ。駒のように回転しながら螺旋状に飛ぶのだ。飛べんのなら。
And this is when the whole Forsake 5 team crashes into the ground.
螺旋移行開始。わめけ、わめくがいい。もっと早く機体をスピンさせるのだ。
I mean, here's my problem. Visually from the outside, I recognize that it looks like they're a giant drill, right? Like the idea is that they're going to hit an enemy and drill into them because they're going so fast and spinning so much. Outwardly, though, that's just a visualization. They would still be just ramming into a thing at high speed.
大丈夫か。大丈夫。
よし、お前は直ちに飛行を中止して着陸しろ。
はい。
他の者は飛行を続行。
So again, I understand what they're going for, but it makes no sense.
ろくに操縦もできんでボルテスチームの一員だとはおこがましい限りだ。
That was some weird, fucked up shit. I want anybody who's reacting to this in a place where they can see it, or go back in the episode itself. When that panned back from Hiyoshi, that was Professor Hamaguchi in the window. That wasn't our new professor. Which I think implies that they drew this episode before they knew that they were changing out Hamaguchi for this guy. Which then tells me that maybe it wasn't a planned change. Again, it's gonna be great when the Voltes 5 team needs to go out and fight when they're all fucking dead or exhausted or whatever from all this training.
一体これはどぎゃんしたことでごわすか。
お前らこそ誰の許しを得て着陸したのだ。
誰の許しもない。日吉はまだ子供だ。その弟がただ闇雲に大人にも耐えられないような訓練をさせられるとあっては黙っていられない。
大した兄弟愛だ。だがわしにそんなものは通用しない。わしにとって必要なものはボルトメカを完全に乗りこなせるマシンだ。日吉が子供であろうとなかろうと。
I mean, if you want machines, then just put a fucking machine in there.
能力を最高に発揮できる戦闘マシンをだ。それが戦いに勝つ手段だ。
博士、俺たちに必要なのはチームワークだ。たとえ日吉が劣っていようと、俺たちはチームワークでカバーして戦い、そして勝ってきた。
今まではな。しかしその甘さがいつかきっと命取りになる。
This is the best Kenichi's ever been. This is the Kenichi I like.
機械になるというのでごわすか。
その通り。ボルトメカを操縦できる優れたコンピューターさえあれば、お前らなどすぐにもお払い箱にしたいところだ。
願ってもねえことだ。いつでもお払い箱になってやるぜ。
できるか。戦いを放棄した臆病者としての運命を切る覚悟があるのか。
I mean, maybe that is the point of this arc. That we don't need this guy. So maybe they can run the base by themselves. One of those rare episodes now that we haven't seen Heinel and gang. Like, they just launched a beast machine and didn't actually introduce the attack.
たっぷりと見せつけてやるんだ。おう。つやだおお前期反転して急速上昇あいつを振り切るんだ
I don't know if this makes a lot of sense. Because we've had tons of fast-moving beast machines before that did not stop them from vaulting together.
こんなでかい図体で追いつこうったって無理な話だ。
これはやはりそうだ間違いないジャンギャル何をしているファルコンの新しい指揮官の手の内を知る第一戦何をぼんやりしているのだ
So I was laughing because I appreciate that we actually do see that they just sit around watching the Voltes 5 forming up.
思いがけなくも敵の弱点に気づいた次第これより直ちに地底上へ帰還ザイザルスの改造をいたしたいとザイザルスの改造かなりの賞賛があるようだなははよし許す思うようにするがよいははザイザルスよ引け改めて剣断だ
Because again, right on the screen, we watch Jangle watching the fight, and then this Voltes machine forming up. And it's like, oh, that's funny. He is just sitting there watching the same way we do.
Radar を呼びそうな反応なし
どうやら敵は完全に逃げ出しちまったようだぜ。
甘いぞ貴様らんケイイチ直ちに合体を解いてスピン飛行の訓練を開始しろよしお前はシミュレーター訓練だ
しかしサゴンジ博士、見た通り俺たちは敵の体当たりをかわして撃退したじゃねえか。これ以上俺たちに何を
I mean, obviously they're wrong.
お前らは大バカかそれともとてつもない正直者だ最後に一言だけ言っておくお前ら5人の部屋は閉鎖戦いと訓練に必要なものを除いて全て始末させてもらう
そんな
お前らに残されたものは5つの目かとその体だけだ
That's what I'm saying. This guy is too fucking extreme. He is too extreme, and they do need to practice. You're physically trained combatants. Don't let him slap you down. Throw the man. It's a medal. You can't crush it with your foot. Do it. Giving you permission, Kenichi. Punch him! Legit, you don't have a machine to pilot your machines right now. You push them too far, you're not gonna have pilots anymore.
お兄ちゃんケイジ兄ちゃん返事してくれよ兄ちゃん
ケイジ、このまま黙って引っ込むか。兄貴、土下する気体。
Like, clearly he's not quitting. Even Ippei quit walking away without taking his machine with him.
岡司令官の元へ行く防衛軍を基地にしても戦いは続けられる
よく言ったケイジ、それでこそ男だ。
決まったぞ兄貴
I don't know, I think Oka is gonna be a bitch about this too.
よし岡司令官の元へ出発だ
よし、岡司令会議の手土産代わりに一発叩き潰してやろうぜ。
兵士、注意しろ。敵はどうやらお前らの弱点に気づいたらしい。
博士、もう余計なおせっかいは無用だ。俺たちはもうファルコンには戻らねえ。あんたの指図は受けねえ。
I hope this turns out into a he realizes his mistake by them not wanting to return to him, and then they also learn their mistake about they need to train more.
ボンバーバ
逃げーとミスタ
ール。うわっ、ケイチ、こいつの装甲板に各メカの武器は点で通用しないぞ。スピードを上げろ。敵を振り切って合体する。
Is that what's gotten boost to its speed?
13。
ダメよ、敵がついてくるわ。お兄ちゃん、あいつは改良されてる。スピードもパワーも2倍以上にアップされてるんだ。
I mean, it's setting a dangerous precedent for all future beast machines to be that much faster and heavily armored.
ダメだ、振り切れない。こうなったらこのスピードのままボルトイスするしかない。
Music's not playing, so obviously it's not going to work. I mean, obviously you should have vaulted in while you were accelerating, so you would have kept ahead of it.
作戦を変えた甲斐がありましたぞ。
さすがだぞジャンギャン。V 型変態が核ももろく崩れるものだとは私ですら予想もつかなかった。
いや、私とても同じこと。一度 V 型変態を組まれたからには攻撃は不可能と先ほどまでは思っていました。いわば怪我の巧妙。
力スピードに勝る限り奴らは合体できず、いずれは撃ち落とされよう。
それもあとわずかのうちに。
Yeah, it's a shame that they can't use the Sword of Heaven without vaulting up first.
ダメだ。
ケイチ、スピン飛行だ。スピン飛行の特訓を生かせ。
That'd make any
スピン
sense.
飛行だ。螺旋状に飛べ。わしはお前たちを殺したくない。わしを信じてその5つの命を今預けてくれ。
Legitimately, the beast machine is ramming into you, so you ramming into it shouldn't deal it any extra damage.
よし、ケイチ、フルカッターを思い切り伸ばせ。よし、1号機は直進。他のものは螺旋状に1号機を包め。電気高速スピンだ。
Also, if it's constantly ramming into them to prevent them from being in formation, then they shouldn't be in formation right now. Okay, they've given it the glow, which I assume means it's got some sort of electromagnetic shield around it. I accept that a little bit more.
スピンを解いてボルトインだ。
レッツボールイン。
You know, I half expected him to now have a weapon that worked outside of being in vault mode. Like, I was really hoping that the thing was going to go hit the ground and explode. And now it's like, oh, okay, sometimes we don't need to vault in anymore. Then I recognize, oh, wait a second, this is also to sell toys at some point, so we need the Voltage 5 and the big action shot that sells toys. Plus, how could you really sell toys about a spinning top person? Well, I guess you could. It just wouldn't look like anything, right? It would be like a sand. Sorry, I'm trying to think of the thing from. Sorry, I wasted time. I can't think of a thing I'm talking about. The creature from Tremors. Sorry, it would look like the creature from Tremors. Do all the beast machines that Jangle creates have an eye scar? I feel like it's a trend that I've noticed. Pretty creative animation there to make it so you could cut it down one way while it's charging you and then turn to cut it the other V shape. But are you gonna stop being a dick though?
博士
わしの訓練は少々厳しかったかもしれん。しかしそれは何としてでもお前たちに生き抜いてもらいたかったからだ。一度人間らしさを振り捨てて己を厳しく見つめ直す。そして生まれたチームワークこそが本物のチームワークだ。
博士
Cool, now put all our shit back in our
まだ
room.
訓練は終わっとらんぞ。何をグズグズしとる。飛行訓練だ。はい。浜口先生、あなたが指摘された弱点は敵に見抜かれたが、今それを見事に克服した。光代博士、あなたの意義たちは必ずこのわしの手で守り抜いてみせる。
I don't know what to say here. I'm not a fan of this new dynamic. But then again, I guess if everyone's a dick, then everyone's a dick to each other, then... I guess maybe I'm also considering them from the aspect of being civilians, because again, one of them is a child. All of them have sacrificed a year or more of their lives to training, and again, useless training. The child was trained to fight sharks with a knife. Has nothing to do with piloting a machine. But then the aspect of a new guy just shows up and I'm going to train you to death and also I'm going to get rid of everything in your room. Oh, but I don't want to actually train you to death. In fact, I want you to, despite my whole speech about machines and fighting to the death, I don't actually want you to die. It's just an uncomfortable dynamic that I'm not exactly happy with. But I, give it a couple episodes and hopefully they shift. The dynamic will shift.
ボルテスチームが宇宙空間に向かい撃った円
So
盤
a
軍の
revolt?
正体は何か。地球を目前にボア弾星を脱出したゴー
That was Professor Go.
ズールの魔の手に捕らえられてしまう。父と子が再び会える日はいつか。次回ボルテス5。父よ、地球は近いに。
Is that the real Professor Go? As I said a number of times, I've been burned so many times by the fake Professor Go's, like, the voice impersonator, the robot, that I don't remember what my note was before, but the fact is that if we see another Professor Go, default into believing it's not him. Default into believing that it's not the real him and that we have to test it, the same way we tested the first guy. So I'm going to guess that what we saw at the beginning of the episode was a revolt of Baozanian slaves at whatever place, and that Professor Go was among them, and that they hijack a couple of the flying saucers, and they're actually getting back to Earth when they get intercepted, and that's when the Voltes 5 is going to have to fight them. I guess maybe that's also why whatever beast machine that was looked way different than other beast machines, because maybe it's a beast inspired by a Bawazanian animal. Just my guess. Otherwise, though, I don't know. That's my interpretation on what we saw about what I think is going to happen. Now, if you remember, I did watch the entire Pluto arc of Astro Boy in the 1960s version, which had no subtitles. So you've seen me before, how accurate I can and am not about what I see on screen via only interpretation. So, grain of salt, no clue. Either way, yeah, I think I've said everything I have to say about the episode so far. And again, I'm hoping there's a different dynamic that emerges over time. I do know, based on everything we've seen so far, that if they rushed off to General Oka to complain about the new professor, he would have sent their asses back. He would not have been having that. So, yeah, even though we didn't see it in the episode, we all know that that would not have played out well. Otherwise, yeah, that's all I got for this episode. So once again, I've been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?